Welcome, SENS Talk.
Here comes Smith with a pass across to the stars. He bats it in. Tim Stutzler wins it for Ottawa. Mitchell Grant is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win. See you later. Go SENS go.
Welcome to SENS Talk. My name is Brandon Plant, and I am your host. Tonight, the Ottawa Senators took on the Chicago Blackhawks in what basically is a preseason game, as it's a tune-up game for the playoffs that begin just under a week away. And speaking of the playoffs, by the way, holy cow, it's confirmed with the Leafs win today that the Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Maple Leafs will match up against one another for the first time in 21 years in the Stanley Cup playoffs, as the Battle of Ontario is back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thinking of putting out a playoff preview video tomorrow. If not tomorrow, within the next few days for sure. I have a special interview planned to preview the series as well. So I might do an individual video and an interview, or just the interview. Still trying to figure that out, but wow. That is going to be very, very fun. And I put out a tweet, and I'm going to say it here. You thought the Sens and Leafs rivalry between the fan bases and the team was toxic? Well, I think we're about to redefine the term toxic. I'll be honest with you. This is about to get real toxic. Holy cow, Sens Twitter, Leafs Twitter are about to go to war with one another. The two teams, Ottawa and Toronto, are going to go to war with one another. This is good for the game of hockey. Austin Matthews just said that too. One of the only times I'll ever agree with that, guys. So, no doubt about it, it is a great day for hockey. It is a great day for Ottawa, even for Toronto. It's great to see the Battle of Ontario back. It's so good for the game of hockey. And, again, there's no better way to get back into the playoffs than taking down your biggest rival and slaying that dragon against a team that you've never beaten in the playoffs. Again, it's been 21 years since we played them in the playoffs. So you can say, well, different team, different owner. Michael Hanlauer even mentioned that today. All true. But at the end of the day, that is still the historical fact. So you want to slay that dragon and take them down. And being the underdog going into the series this year, compared to the previous series where we were not the underdog, could actually be a benefactor for us. Could be definitely a plus. Because again, all the pressure's on Toronto. I want to win a series or two, no doubt about it. I don't consider just making the playoffs a success. However, the pressure is certainly on the Leafs, who have a closing window to win a Stanley Cup with their current core. While Ottawa, they're just kind of getting started. So we're just happy to be in the dance and just see what happens. The Leafs, they need to win. The Sens, we'd like to win. So usually when you're the underdog, some fun things happen. We'll just leave it at that. Again, I'm going to try to put out a video tomorrow to preview the series. If not, by Friday or Saturday, for sure you'll have some content there. Again, very, very special interview planned with a very, very special person that all of you know. Again, I'm not going to say more than that. I'm going to save it for when it drops. Now, speaking of the playoffs and whatnot coming back, I'm starting to grow the playoff beard. I'm not going to lie. I could grow beautiful hair. I got nice, curly, thick hair, but for some reason, my beard, I don't know. I haven't tried to grow a full beard in a couple of years, but I kind of have a patchy beard when I grow it. I'm not going to lie with you. I'm kind of like some of the young bucks on the Ottawa Senators with their patchy beards. So I'm growing it a week early. Hopefully we can get it there. The girlfriend's not too thrilled, but the two situations I'm in here for the playoffs and the facial hair is either the full playoff beard or I might go for the playoff mustache. We're going to have to wait and see how the next week goes and how the growth happens. My girlfriend's not happy either way, but guess what? This is just what it's going to have to be. It's the playoffs. Got to do it. Have to do it. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do we do a playoff beard? Do we do a playoff stash? Let me know down below. But yeah, I just had to talk about the Battle of Ontario for the first few minutes here because that is certainly the biggest news out of tonight, because that was certainly a stinker of a game for Ottawa today. Not in terms of the effort, but just in terms of the result. But again, let me know what you think in the comment section down below as well about playing the Leafs in round one. Holy cow. I mean, I will just say this. Toronto, not an easy team to beat, obviously. They're winning the Atlantic Division. It's not an easy team to play against. But I'd rather face them than Tampa. I'd rather face them than Florida. And I'd rather face them than Washington. So while, again, there's so much on the line here and the stakes are frankly higher than they probably would be if we played Tampa or something. one, you just love that for hockey, especially in the playoffs. That's what you want. You want the games to matter even that much more. That's what sports are about. But two, I think just the playoff matchup, and I'll save the rest of this for my playoff preview thoughts coming up in the next few days here. But I just think that Ottawa can match up against Toronto better than Washington, Florida, or Tampa. And we'll just save the rest of those thoughts for those videos coming up. So, again, let me know what you think in the comments section down below about that. Now, going into this game, Ottawa has won 5 straight games at home, and they're looking to win 3 straight. They've won back-to-back games going into this one as well, looking to make it 3 in a row. And they'd have to do that without some key guys, as multiple players would be out for today's game for rest reasons. You know, it makes sense. You already clinched the playoffs. You already solidified your spot. You can't move up or down the standings. You are where you are, so you might as well rest your guys. So Brady Tkachuk continues to not be in the lineup. He may play on Thursday against Carolina, but he will be back for Game 1 for sure. He's going to be ready to go. Claude Giroux missed his first game as an Ottawa Senator. Shout out to the Locked On guys for this stat. I wasn't even aware that he's played every single game as an Ottawa Senator. Now, I do remember, now that I'm thinking about it, that he's played 82 games the last couple of years, and I thought to myself that was crazy last time I saw it. But to just see it again here and for that streak to end in this fashion is frankly fitting, because he's done everything possible over the last couple of years to get this team to the playoffs. And now that we're in the playoffs, he can finally take a rest. So it's pretty fitting. In those 244 straight games with the Ottawa Senators, 193 points. I mean, wow. Claude Giroux has been a godsend for the Ottawa Senators. Jake Sanderson as well sits out for this one. And Nick Jensen also would not play today. Gilbert and Travis Hamonic draw in. Speaking of Travis Hamonic, game number 899 of his NHL career tonight. He will play on Thursday as well against Carolina. So that will be 900 in his NHL career. Very, very happy for him. He's had a very strong career. He gets a lot of flack from SENS fans, but just remember 2 things. 1, he should play on Thursday. Why shouldn't he? He should reach 900, obviously. And 2, at the end of the day, it's the coach putting him in these situations. He's doing the best he can. It's not like he wants to perform poorly. The coach is putting him in very tough situations, so you can't really put all the fault there on the player. Also, Adam Gaudette, congratulations to him. Game number 300 today. Now, Forsberg starts for your Ottawa Senators. Not much of a shock there. Why would Allmark start? He might start Thursday just to get some reps in before the playoffs begin on Sunday or Monday. Those are the 2 days that are expected to be potentially the first game for Ottawa and Toronto. But again, start Forsberg, it makes sense. And for Chicago, it would be Spencer Knight. Now, before we get into the rest of the game recap, I want to say thank you to Dylan Puckniak and Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment for sponsoring SENS Talk. SENS Talk is proudly presented by Dylan Puckniak, Ottawa's exclusive realtor with Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment. Providing a bilingual real estate service that serves the Ottawa-Gatineau community, Dylan Puckniak is also specialized in supporting professional athletes that come and go in our city, providing service that takes care of people at the highest level. For a realtor experience that puts you and your needs first, visit dylanpuckniak.kw.com. That is dylanpuckniak.kw.com to find out more today. So let's get to the first period of play at 90 seconds in. Not looking good for Ottawa. It's 1-0 Chicago as Connor Bedard rips one top shelf as he walks in off the rush and just beats Forsberg cleanly. Good shot for Bedard, no doubt about it, but Forsberg should be more aggressive on the shot here. He was far too deep in his net and results in a goal for Chicago. They strike early on the first shot to make it 1-0 them. 7 minutes later, 7 minutes in, frankly, to be exact, Veleno walks in and rips it low glove side from distance. This goal, you know, the first one, you can make the argument, fine, Bedard, nice shot. This goal, you need to stop there, and he knows it. You could tell by his reaction. That's this one he needs to stop, and that is 2 goals on 2 shots. Not exactly a stellar start for Ottawa in terms of keeping the puck out of the net. Luckily, though, they're putting the puck into the net as 45 seconds later, Nick Cousins gets his first since returning after a few months with that knee injury. Ottawa's down by 1. Nick Cousins with his first in 2 games since returning. And look at your screen. It's so funny. Spartacat chirped a Hawks fan after the Sens scored here. Just love to see it. That is so funny. That's why we love Sparty. As Ottawa finds themselves down by a goal after 20 minutes of play, but they lead in shots by a whopping 15-4. Unbelievable. So we continue on to the second period of play in Ottawa. All game, the better team. All game. The only reason the result that we had happen is because of goaltending. There's no other reason as to why. Because Ottawa today actually played fantastic. And we'll talk about it in the Keith Smoke Meats post-game notes. But, with key guys out, it was very impressive. And I don't care if it's Chicago or not. That's still an NHL team. It was very impressive how well the Sens played, considering they had some key guys out. 90 seconds later, Chabot off the faceoff, lets one rip. Shabbat Shalom, it's a tie game at 2. Power play goal as Chabot extends his point streak to 6 games. In that span, he has 10 points, including 3 goals. That is now as well back-to-back games with the goal for Chabot. So impressive. 45 points this year, while primarily not being on the first power play. He gets so much hate, but this guy, for 6 years in a row for your Ottawa Senators, has played 25 or so minutes on average, 22 to 25 minutes, putting up 40 to 50 points. He is such an electric top defenseman for your Ottawa Senators. Is he the top guy? No, but he is such a valuable player for your Ottawa Senators, has given this team valuable minutes for nearly a decade straight, over half a decade. And again, without power play time and, being a power play merchant, still putting up nearly 50 points. I don't know what else you want from this guy, He gets a lot of flack. I don't get it. A minute later, well, I get the flack for this, though. Chicago takes the lead again. Bedard rips a glove side for second of the night on the power play to make it a 3-2 game. For Chicago, that is now 3 goals on 5 shots. The only reason that Anton Forsberg is still in this game is because Linus Ullmark cannot play in this game. There's no reason to put him in a game that does not matter with the playoffs coming up. Otherwise, he would be mercy pulled. I think Forsberg has been solid, especially in the second half of the year. He's been very, very good as of late, but he has not been good today. That was another stinker of a goal there as Chicago leads. A few minutes later, I don't know how Ottawa did not score here. Renzel for the Hawks kept it out, kicked it off from the goal line. Amadio and Gregg somehow did not score there, as you just saw on your screen. But with about 5 minutes left in the second period of play, Ottawa gets onto the power play yet again, and off the faceoff, another goal off the faceoff. This time it's the Drake Batherson, who rips it glove side to tie things up at 3 apiece. The second power play goal of the night for the Ottawa Senators, as well as Batherson, just like Chabot on his power play goal, extends his point streak to 6 games as well. And a nice pass here by Dylan Cousins on the ground off the faceoff to poke it over to Drake Batherson, and Bath does the rest as he rips it glove side top shelf. After 40 minutes of play, we are tied at 3 apiece. The shots, a remarkable 32-9 in favor of Ottawa, but it doesn't matter. We're all tied up at 3-3. So we go to the third period of play. Not much happens there. Ottawa does push. Knight makes some nice stops. Nothing really notable. So we go to overtime. I mean, thank goodness we are a top 6 team in the conference. Already locked our playoff spot, resting key guys. I mean, it was a hell of an effort. Brutal turnover here by Tim Stützle, though, and the Hawks go back the other way. And then Nazar on a semi-one-timer beats Forsberg on another stinker as the Hawks win this one 4-3 in overtime. Forsberg, you could tell, look at your screen, knows he needs to stop that. He is very frustrated after a very brutal loss for him, as he only stopped 12 of 16 for a .750 save percentage tonight. He will be the first to tell you he needs to be better, and we all know he's capable of doing better. So a tough night for Forsberg, no doubt. It does happen, but again, I mean, it does seem that it's either an elite night for Forsberg or he lets in a few stinkers, and I don't know why that is the case. But for your backup, you want to see more consistency, and we've seen that a lot in the second half. But this was pretty brutal to see, especially considering that arguably all the goals, if not 3 out of the 4, probably should not have gone in. So again, we got a point. Doesn't matter regardless, but at least we got a point, and the boys got somewhat rewarded for a hell of an effort, especially down a few men. Now, before we continue on and I break down some of the key advanced analytics on some players and kind of put a spotlight on a few guys as we get to the playoffs here, I want to talk about Keith Smoked Meats, as Sense Talk is brought to you by Keith Smoked Meats, the best smoked meat in the Ottawa area. During a process that takes over 150 hours while using the highest grade beef, Keith Smoked Meats smokes their meat on top of a mix of Southern American charcoal and Keith's signature flavored wood chips, leaving you with a savory Montreal-inspired smoked meat. But the best part, Getting it is so easy. Just go to keepsmokemeats.com, find the smoked meat package you're looking for, press order, and boom! Within days, you'll have freshly made, locally produced smoked meat dropped off right at your doorstep. So go to keepsmokemeats.com for the best tasting smoked meat experience in Ottawa today. Now, Dylan Cousins, I want to give a bit of a spotlight for. Today, he had 2 assists, so 2 points total, 3 shots, 1 block, 5 of 8 of his faceoffs. Expected goals for just under 60%. Scoring chances at 75. He had a very solid night. That whole line, Matheson also scored. Played very well. But, ultimately, to see Cousins break through with a solid offensive game after struggling a bit as of late. Again, he's looked not bad, but after a hot start, he slowed down offensively. It's nice to see him pick up a couple of points here. Hopefully, he can build off of that as we approach the playoffs. Because, again, and we'll talk about it here with Amadio, Pinto, and whatnot, that third line too. But the second and third line against the Leafs are going to be very critical. Not only in those matchups, in Toronto against Matthews and whatnot, but more importantly when Matthews is off the ice. And they're on the ice, whether they're in Ottawa or if there's a mismatch for whatever reason they're in Toronto. They're going to need to come up big and are going to need to provide that secondary scoring, especially if the big guys like Stützle and Tkachuk and whatnot are struggling to produce. Now, speaking of that, the Pinto, Gregg, and Amadio line today was very good, producing 9 shots, no points somehow, but 9 shots, 11 scoring chances, 2 hits, 3 blocks, 8 scoring chances, and 0 scoring chances against when they were all on the ice together. So that is very encouraging to me as we approach the playoffs, that the third line, a line that you're going to depend on to shut down the Toronto Maple Leafs, but also a line that you're going to need to chip in offensively, is doing a very good job. Again, I know it's Chicago, but still doing a very good job at shutting down the opponent, in their offensive drives, and more so producing their own offensive drive. So that is great to see. Now, Angus Crookshank was on that first line today with Fabian Zetterlund alongside Tim Stützle down the middle. Zetterlund, no points today, but 2 shots, 4 scoring chances, 3 hits, a 5-on-5 Corsi 4 percentage at 80%, just under 81%. So Zetterlund, will he be on that first line in the playoffs? I doubt it. Where will he be? I don't know. I'm going to save that conversation for tomorrow's video for the playoff preview, or in the next few days when I put out that preview. But again, he continues to really generate some great looks and has some natural chemistry there with Tim Stützle. Well, Angus Crookshank also 0 points today, but 3 shots, 4 scoring chances, a hit, and at 5-on-5, a 74% Corsi 4 percentage basically. So Crookshank as well, he had a fantastic year in Belleville. I don't know why it took them so long to call him up, but I'm very thankful that they did. He's exactly what you want on that bottom 6. Energy, grittiness, tenacity, and an offensive producing ability. So, again, what happens there on that fourth line? Is Gaudette scratched? Is Highmore scratched? Is Crookshank scratched? Who is going to be scratched? I don't know, frankly. There's so many good options, and this is a good problem to have. This is exactly the type of problem you're not upset to have whatsoever. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below as always. But with that, I'll see you hopefully tomorrow again. I do plan on getting that video out tomorrow. It just kind of depends on if my graphic guys can get the thumbnail done in time. It's a quick turnaround for that. We'll just see what happens. But I'll definitely have a preview by Saturday for sure for that first round against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So stay tuned for that. At the very least. Now, the next SENS game is on Thursday against the Carolina Hurricanes. Game number 82 as the regular season comes to a close Thursday night. Let's see if Ottawa can make it 45 wins on the year with a win against Carolina. Now, with that, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all soon. Go SENS, go.